Hey everyone, Catherine here. I'm super excited to share my book review with you today and some insights I've learned this weekend. So the book is The Millionaire Master Plan by Roger Hamilton. And the event that I've been at this weekend is called the Fast Forward Summit. So by way of introduction to this book, to this event, I came in contact with this organization, Entrepreneurs Institute, 4 years ago. And it was the start of my entrepreneurial education. And 4 years later, I can honestly say this organization, Entrepreneurs Institute, the creator of this book, Roger Hamilton, and all of his content is the absolute best entrepreneur education that you can get in the world, full stop. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, everyone should read this book. I'm going to keep shoving it in your face. The Millionaire Master Plan. Everyone should read this book because it completely explains the whole financial system and the people in it and how it empowers you and gives you the information that you need to choose where you want to be in it. So, starting with the model, the wealth spectrum. So the wealth spectrum is divided into 3 different prisms. So the bottom level, the foundation prism, is where the majority of people are. And this is the prism where you get money, you lose money, it's about your own personal, individual exchange. It's time for money, it's people in jobs, you're in a job, you're out of a job, you're trying to get a job, you're trying to keep a job, and it's all about the individual. The second level of the prism, of the spectrum, the enterprise prism, is all about the exchange of money and flow at the group level. So it's all about teams and team building and bringing teams together. And the third level of the spectrum is the Alchemy Prism. And this is sort of like the top level, like this is like the global view, and not global in the sense of like this is where the fancy rich people sit, but this is where the visionaries, from the Martin Luther Kings to business people, the Richard Bransons, like this is where people are connected to the flow of money, where they're really making it happen on like a systemic level. And where I am, so what I discovered for myself through attending my 4th Fast Forward Summit event this weekend here in London, is where I am on the prism, because having studied this education for a few years now, I had a view of where I would be by retaking the wealth spectrum test. So everything I'm sharing with you today, if you go to geniusu.com, like genius, the letter u.com, this will connect you into all this stuff I'm talking about. And do one of those things is like pick up the book, like do get the book. So that's one of the things that you can do in there, but it's like a whole portal, a whole world of great people and great stuff that are going to support you both in your entrepreneurial journey and in your life journey. So what I'm getting for myself this weekend is I thought, being a student and studying, and when you're a student you think, okay, linear, like I want to go up the spectrum. I thought I would come out maybe quote unquote higher on the spectrum, because the 2 things about moving up the lighthouse and going through these different levels, the way you move is by changing your mindset. By changing your mindset, you do things differently. When you do things differently, you produce a different result. This is what shifts you up the lighthouse. So when I was reading all of the statements, all of the mindset that goes along with each of the levels, from victim to survivor to I'm working hard for my money to this is the yellow level, I love what I do and I create flow. When I read this about yellow level, I was thinking I'm totally a yellow level mindset. So I went and retook the test, because when I took the test a couple of years ago, I came out red, which is survivor, and a I have just enough kind of mindset. And so I thought a couple years later, of course, I'm going to be like higher up the spectrum in terms of this test. So when I retook the test, guess what? I came out red again. And I was like, oh man, I haven't made any progress, because according to this test, the output of this test is the same. And I looked at it and I'm like, but my mindset has shifted. Like, I know my mindset has shifted. But here's the thing. My mind shift only really started shifting in the last couple of months. I was going to say 5 or 6 months. It's probably not even that long, if I'm honest. It's probably more like the last couple of months. So it would be a little bit unreasonable to think after a couple months of mindset shift that actually all of the numbers and all of the outcomes would shift along with it. So the first thing I got for myself is, okay, wow, okay, great, we see the mindset shift, but let's not lose track at measuring the outcomes. And let's see that the outcomes are actually, following with my mindset. And also the activities that I need to do, which are aligned with that mindset, which are being like solidly in that level. It's about my personal identity and, showing up so that people know who I am and what I do. So that was like the first discovery. Now, the second discovery, because I just went, if I'm only red and there's like 8 more levels, what hope? What hope? What hope do I have? And it's not like school. You do not have to go up this spectrum and be a Richard Branson and be, at the top level, because it's not correlated to like happiness or purpose. It's just a model. It's just a tool. And there are people who make like a lot of money at orange worker level, which is like having a job. Like, there are lots of people who make like millions of pounds, dollars, rupees, whatever currency you're in. There are people who make like a lot of money just from being an employee, and that's orange level. And that's fine. But I don't see myself as being a worker forever. And I don't see for myself how, because I love learning and because I'm so driven to discovering new things and helping others, it's hard for me to see how I could do that staying in the same business model of employment. Like, I don't see it for myself. So that's just me. But the other thing that I discovered looking at this spectrum is I had never considered investments. So after the team, so after you're, yellow level moving to green, you're building a team, and then you get that team into flow. And by that team being in flow, that's how your personal money flows. Higher up the spectrum, it starts to be about investments. So how your money makes money. And I have to say, it never occurred to me. Like, investments to me are like these esoteric things that like I just can't get my head around. Like, why would I want to have investments? Like, I don't see the value of that. Like, what are investments? Like, if I have money left over at the end of the month, why would I put it in investments? Wouldn't I just think of something else better to spend it on than investments? But then I thought, well, investment, the word investment, you're investing. You're like committing yourself to something, whether it's a house, whether it's a stock or a bond, whether it's in your own learning. So actually, why wouldn't I want investments? I invest in myself all the time in terms of my personal development. So actually, financial assets are another form of investment. Why wouldn't I want financial assets? And actually, what financial assets are to me is like stability. It's like you build something, grow something that at some point in time you'll need or want that will serve a purpose. And it just never crossed my mind. I could only really see myself shifting from orange worker to yellow solopreneur to like green level business, which is like you're the founder of a small business. It never occurred to me to actually think blue, purple. Like, it just didn't even cross my mind. So I'm sharing this with you because this model is brilliant. I think everyone should study it at school. I hope it adds value to you. I would love to hear what you think. So please ask me questions. Please comment below what you're getting for yourself out of my sharing this with you. Go and read the book. Share that here too. And, you know, just keep pushing your boundaries of like what is possible, because I started seeing completely new things that I didn't think were possible for me, but I've created them now as possibilities from revisiting this model and attending this event this weekend. So that was on my heart to share. That's what my soul is telling to share with you in this video today, and I hope you got a lot out of it. I would love to hear what you think and what you feel, and thanks so much for watching.